Okay, I think we're ready to go. Good evening, everyone. This is Coach Billy Hahn, Courtside with Coach Billy Hahn, and this is our third show for the season. And we talked about high school basketball the last couple of shows. Tonight, it's time to talk about the Mountaineers and our wonderful 0-5 start. I've got Nathan Adrian in here from Morgantown, West Virginia. Nathan Adrian was one of our players here at WVU, had a heck of a career for us, and Nate's been kind enough to come by and join me tonight to talk about this misery.
It's not easy to.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's hard to come up with stuff to talk about.
Nate, Mountaineers are sort of hard to watch right now, aren't they?
A little bit.
Tell me, when somebody comes up to you, which you get all the time, which I get constantly, everybody that says the first thing they see, they go, "What's wrong? What's wrong with the Mountaineers?" I go to the grocery store. I go to the gas station. I walk anywhere. I go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
What is going on with the Mountaineers? So, what is going on with the Mountaineers, Nate Adrian? Please tell me.
Well, Coach Hahn, that's a tough question to answer for you because I think it's a lot of different things.
I've only got an hour show.
Yeah, well, we'll wrap this up pretty quick.
All right.
It's a lot of things from leadership to lack of playing hard to a lot of people that aren't necessarily built for the system, I suppose you could say.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. To play for Coach Huggins, you got to be a special kind of individual, and I think some of the people on his team aren't exactly built for that.
They're not built for that, are they?
No.
I talked to Hugs this morning.
What did he say? I haven't talked to him yet.
We talked, and he called it about the fish fry. You know, had to tell him a couple things about that. That's in a couple of weeks. He's got coming up. And he says, Billy, what do I do? He said, he asked me. He says, what do I do? You have any thoughts? So I said, Hugs, I got several thoughts for you. You asked me, so now I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. I said, number one, I hope you're out recruiting right now. He says, "Yeah, he said, I'm in Texas. I'm going to a JUCO today." I said, "Well, that's number one. You need to get better players. Number one." I said, "Number two, when you're out there, make sure that you find somebody that's got some toughness. Because Hugs, we have no toughness whatsoever.
None.
There's no." I told him, I said, Hugs, we don't have any Tariq Phillips. We don't have any Truck Bryant. Hey, no matter how good or bad they were, they at least had New York toughness.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to win games.
They wanted to win
games.
games.
They would do anything to do it.
And they would do anything to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kevin Jones, Devin Ebanks. You think about those guys.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to win.
Nate, you were the same way.
I know I was.
My wife and I were talking about you coming over tonight. You were the same way, that you were built that way. And you understand how you had to grind it out every day, how tough it was every day. And you learned, and it took you a while too, you learned how to play for Hugs.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a while, doesn't it?
It takes a long time, especially even when I came in, we switched to pressing all the time, which I'm not exactly built for.
Right.
Or made for. It's not exactly my forte, but I figured it out.
You figured it out.
I did what I need to do to play and win games.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like that's happening right now, does it?
No. So I told him, you need tougher kids. Then I said, here's what I'm going to continue. This is my feeling. I said, it's time to move on. I can say it because I don't have anything to do with it anymore. You need to get and stop playing Isamad. Just you're done with him. You're done. It's over. You get him 1,000 chances. He's killing you. Killing you.
Yeah, definitely in turnovers he is. I don't know how many he has on the year now, but he's averaging close to 4 a game. Let's see here. 44 now, which is a lot of turnovers. You muted yourself.
I did. Hey, so I told him to stop playing Issa. And I said, it's time now. I know Logan Rout is a good guy. He's worked hard. But you know what? Don't start Logan Rout no more.
I think Derek's proved that he needs to
You know
be
what?
the
Let's
big that needs to be in the game at pretty much all times.
Let's get Derek started. And I said, in Hugs, I would never start Beetle Bolden. And I wouldn't start him because he always gets in foul trouble. And I told Hugs the reason I think he gets in foul trouble is when he starts, referees call the game tighter at the very beginning of the game, the first 5 minutes.
They do. They got to get in the flow of the game,
They got to get in the flow.
Uh-huh.
So you know what? He picks up 1 or 2 ticky-tack fouls. If he doesn't start, they don't call those fouls when he comes in. They don't. And he's pretty aggressive on the ball.
Yeah, he tries to be. He tries to play hard on defense.
He tries to play hard. So I said, I don't. Well, you know what Huck said, don't you?
Huh.
All right, who do I start? He said, "You got those are good ideas." He says, "So who do you want me to play?" This is always great, Nate. So when I was his assistant, and the game would be going on, I said, "Let's run such a such play." He said, "Bo Billy, that's a great idea. Who do you want me to pass the ball? Who do you want me to pass the ball? Who wants to make the pass?"
Everybody. That's what he always told us. His coaches have a lot of great ideas, but no one who can do it.
Oh my God! He says, "Who do you want to throw the ball to somebody? Who can pass it, Billy? Who can pass the ball?"
Yeah, I think that's a big problem with this year's team. We don't pass the ball well at all. We only have 226 assists on the year and 263 turnovers.
Unbelievable.
Which is a bad stat for a season.
Unbelievable.
I think against Oklahoma State, we only had 7 assists in an entire game.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's stupid. And I tell you what, besides that, I think the first time in the 10 years I coached with Hugs and then the other 2 seasons I've been away from him, I think our shot selection is god-awful.
Yeah.
And bad shots at one end lead to layups at the other end.
Uh-huh.
You watch any level of any college basketball game, high school, NBA, if you see a bad shot, if you're sitting on your couch and you go, "That's a bad shot," well, that bad shot's probably gonna next thing you do, they're laying it. They're laying
lead to an outlet pass.
Absolutely, it's amazing.
But again, that comes back to bad passing. If you can't pass the ball, you can't spread the floor. You can't get better shots. You can't get driving lanes. You can't kick it out to anybody wide open. You're forced to take a bad shot at the end of a shot clock.
Right, it's unbelievable. So since my last show last week, we've lost to Kansas State 71-69. We had a 21-point lead, and we sort of gave that away, didn't we?
I'd say so.
You think? And that was a game we could have, should have won. That also was we caught a break by playing at Kansas State when they didn't have their student body there.
Which is a big deal there.
That's huge.
Yeah, they're pretty rowdy.
Oh man, that's a hard place to play. So we lose to Kansas State, 71-69. Then we come home and we play a home game Saturday against Oklahoma State, and we lose that one 85-77. When's the last time you can remember us giving up 85 points at home? I don't remember. Do you? Can you remember?
Not that I know of, unless sometime
During
my
your-
freshman year maybe.
Yeah.
But we were scoring 90-some a game.
We don't give up
We
85
don't give
points.
up 85 points and turn around and almost give up 100 in regulation.
Think about that.
Pretty bad. The thing is, we're losing games in a lot of different ways. The first 2 games of Big 12 against Texas Tech and Texas,
Yeah.
we played pretty good D.
Yes.
Only giving up 60-some points a game, which isn't too bad.
Not too bad.
But you turn the ball over 18,
Yes.
19, 20 times.
Yep.
You don't make any shots, you're going to lose it that way.
Right.
Then we turn around, we actually build a lead in a game. Then you just fall apart in the second half, which again,
Turnovers.
has happened before, but not as big of a lead as they gave up there.
Turnovers. And I think the second thing has been terrible missed free throws. What's our free throw shooting now as a team?
69,
69%.
but it was close to 80.
Yeah, it was close to 80 at one time.
I think it's in the 50s in the Big 12.
Yeah, Big 12 is 50%. Matter of fact, I got Big 12 stats here. We are last. I made these. This will blow your mind. I made a bunch of stuff here. We are. I'm gonna show you right now. Last. Here's my Big 12 stuff. We're last. I had some papers here. I thought I did. Kathy, did you take my stuff? Blame my
Don't
wife.
blame her.
I got some.
Let me help you out here.
I had some. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Right here. Right here. We are last. You ready for this?
Yep.
In the Big 12, we're 0-5, which is last place. We are block shots. We are last place in blocking shots. We are last place in assists. We are last place in turnover margin.
Mm-hmm.
We are last place in steals. We are last place in assist to turnover margin ratio. We are last place in scoring margin.
By a lot.
We are last place in three-point field goal percentage.
And I bet we take a lot more than a lot of people.
And we are in ninth place, second to last, in three-point field goal made per game.
Not going to win too many games, huh?
You're not going to win very many games, are you, huh? I went through that today, and I'm going, look at us, the last place in the Big 12 stuff. Now, to our credit, we lead one category in the Big 12.
What's that?
And what do you think that is? Which Bob
Offensive
Huggins?
rebounds.
Offensive rebounds. Offensive rebounds. Percentage is first. Rebounding margin, we're in second place. Bob Huggins' teams always rebound the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But, Nate, I just can't believe, I cannot remember ever since I've been at West Virginia and ever seeing Bob Huggins' teams at Cincinnati. Bob Huggins' teams always competed, man. I mean, last night.
No, there was no competing last night, that's for sure.
Oh my God.
Especially in the second half. You saw, like,
They
I think it was like 5 minutes left in the first half.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
You just tell they were quitting.
I just sat there last night. I felt so sorry for Hugs. I don't think people realize how hard he takes.
No, they definitely don't. I think he takes this harder than anybody, and he has taken blame for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he shouldn't have to sit there and have his team quit on him. That should never happen.
And now, you know what? Here's what's really bothering me right now is these damn social media, Twitter, Facebook, those two especially, because I'm on there all the time. They got the nerve to saying that Bob Huggins, he doesn't have it anymore.
Well, that's the same thing they said in 2012 and 13.
Same
They
thing.
went 13 and 19, and then we had 4. Oh, the year after that wasn't great either. But after that, we had probably the best 4-year run in West Virginia basketball history. went to 3 Sweet 16s, and people act like we're supposed to do that every year.
Yeah.
We've only been to 11 in program history.
Think about that.
And he's taken us to 7 or 8 of them. So
Yeah.
it's not like he can't do it. It's just sometimes you have a bad year, and it's not acceptable, but it happens. And at the end of the day, he can take as much blame for it as he wants. But if the team's not playing for him, that's not on him. He did recruit the guys. These are his guys, whatever he wants to say about it.
He says that
he does. He takes blame for it, but it's not on him. People
Yeah.
can still compete. People can still play.
Yeah.
The difference between last year and this year, losing Javon and Dax, isn't the difference between winning 25 games, going to Sweet 16, to being 8 and 9, and then last place in the Big 12.
I think this, Nate. I still believe that we are not 0-5 if Sags is playing. I'm sorry, you disagree with me.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but if Sags is playing, Derek's not playing, you don't have 15 points and 12 rebounds. Sure, you have some more block shots, but it's not like in the beginning of the year we were only giving up 50 points a game. There was games we gave up 90-plus to St. Joe's, who's now 6 and 10 or whatever they are. They're awful.
How bad are they?
And we gave up 90 with Sags playing then. Not saying he's not a great player, but it's not like he'd be the huge difference maker.
I think we have a chance to win some of these games if he was back there, because people scout us too.
Yeah.
And what's on everybody's scout report? Drive the ball to the rim. Sags is not back there anymore. They have no shot blocker. Take it to the rim.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing.
Man, they're doing a pretty good job at it now too. But again, the first 2 games of the Big 12, we weren't that bad defensively. We lost the games in other ways. Now, the last 2 games, you can make that argument against Kansas State, but we didn't give up a field goal in the first 10 minutes of that game.
Think about that.
So, again, it's not like we were playing bad defense.
Think about that.
Until the second half.
Here's my thing. I don't think they listen to scout reports, because as a former player, you know, our scouting reports were damn thorough.
Yeah.
And we always told – you guys knew going into the game if a guy was going to drive the ball on his right hand. And we say he's only going to drive right, sit on his right hand. Well, you know damn well that in the scouting reports, in the game so far, that they're saying Barry Brown from Kansas State
totally going right
is going to drive the ball right, sit on his right hand. And they never sat on his right hand.
No, I mean, it's understandable if it happens once or twice. It gets away from you a few times because you get tired, can't get over there, but every possession it shouldn't happen.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. That's just a lack of focus.
I saw a quote from Hugs that's saying they don't listen, because he says, we came out of a timeout and we changed our defense. We said we're going to go 2-3 zone. And as we were coming out of the timeout, after we talked about going to 2-3 zone, coming out of the timeout, I won't mention names, but a player, as they're coming to leave the huddle, says, who am I guarding?
And yeah, exactly. And again, these are things that Coach Hugs can't help. Granted, these are his players, but he can't help if they don't listen or don't play or don't try. That's not on him.
He said, Billy, do you believe the guy asked me after we talked about our 2-3 zone? He says, who am I guarding? Oh, man. I don't think you can fix – what do they say? You can't fix dumb, or you can't fix stupid? What's that saying? I don't know.
Dumbness and death.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't fix.
You can't fix that. Yeah, whatever. So we got the Kansas Jayhawks rolling in here on Saturday. What do you think?
What do I think? I don't think they're as good as they used to be.
That's true.
That.
I totally agree.
I don't think they have the guard play
but
that they used to.
But the Big 12's not as good.
No, I've been saying I didn't think it was as good last year.
No, that Big 12 is not near.
3-4 years ago, we were playing big name guys every night, coming in and out.
Yes.
You had to play every single game.
Yes.
It's not like that anymore. The
like
bottom
that.
of the league is definitely not what it used to be, and the top of the league is not what it used to be. At least
Right.
last year, the top of the league was still tough. I don't think this year it's very good. I mean, when was the last time Kansas went anywhere and lost by 17 or 18? That hasn't happened in a long time.
You know what else I said today, Nate? I said that, and maybe you'll agree or disagree with me, that in the 40 years I coached college basketball, a season consists of a lot of things the entire year and what goes into a whole season. And I think every team in America, maybe with the exception of one or two or three teams, but you look at scores, each team has at least two and maybe sometimes three or four blowouts.
Yeah.
It happens. Like I'm watching Carolina the other night at home against Louisville. They had their worst home loss in the history of Carolina basketball. Louisville goes in there and smacks them. Now, we had our worst loss in the history of Big 12 basketball against TCU. And everybody says, I heard all day, oh, we got Kansas on Saturday. They'll crush it Saturday. They'll crush it Saturday. I don't know if we're going to win or lose, but I'll tell you one thing. They will not. We're not going to get crushed.
No, I don't think they'll crush
That
us.
ain't going to happen.
I think Coach Hugs will get it back in there and get
Yeah.
him refocused and
Yeah.
try to get some things fixed. I think he's going to play a lot of young guys a lot more
Right.
because he knows that's the future of the program. And
Right.
we need to start. It's about time to start looking that way. So I think he'll get them in there, and I think it'll be a good experience for him, and maybe they'll compete.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Big maybe, huh?
Everything's a big maybe right now.
Hey, Nate, I'm having a hard time getting over the fact that, like, if you get smacked, somebody comes up and hits you in the face, you're gonna go after that sucker. I don't know how many guys, if somebody gets smacked in the face, like, what would they do?
Doesn't seem like they're responding very well
No,
right
it
now.
doesn't.
No,
No.
it seems we kind of lay down when things start going bad.
Unbelievable. Sad. So, I was told to this today that I went over to the Coliseum today, and I saw my man Bubba, and I went down there and talked to him for a while. They say that the game is sold out on Saturday. Can't get a ticket. All tickets have been sold. The students are back. Students have already picked up to become there Saturday at 2 o'clock. So the house should be rocking Saturday.
I'd say it will be. Place gets pretty loud when it's sold out.
Sold out. It gets pretty loud. We always do good at playing Kansas. Hugs has this thing in his contract where he beats Kansas and he gets an additional bonus or something for his mom's cancer foundation. So I think Huggy Bear, I think that he'll have him ready for Saturday.
Yeah, I mean he'll have them as ready as they can be. He's going to do everything in his power to make sure what happened against TCU doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
You can lose games, but if you quit on them, then
Ooh.
I don't think it's
I don't
gonna
think
be a fun week.
you'll see that happen again.
No, I don't either.
I don't think you'll see the guys quit. Because I think the guys
that quit aren't going to see much
time.
anymore.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think he knows.
He's watched enough times to pinpoint what's happening, who gave up on him.
And he told me this morning on the phone, he said, Billy, he says, I'm having a really hard time getting through to a couple players. He says, I ran a play coming out of a timeout. Same play 2 different times. And the first time, the kid did exactly what we told him he needed to do. And we got a layup. And about another timeout, I drew up the exact same play, tell the kid to do the exact same thing. He drives it left. And he turns it over. He goes, Billy, what is going on? Hugs is a frustrated man right now, man. I feel sorry for him.
I can only imagine sitting there and telling somebody to do something and they blatantly ignore you and do exactly the opposite. I have no experience on how that feels, but I can't imagine it's a very good feeling.
Who's in the Big 12? Who's the team to beat?
I mean,
It's got to be Texas Tech.
It's got to be Texas Tech at this point. Are they still undefeated? If they're still undefeated in the league, then they got to be the team to beat. They're the only ones
They
left.
play.
Iowa State beat Kansas and then fell off.
They got Texas Tech has. I think they got Iowa State tonight.
Texas
Right
Tech.
here.
They
Am
got
I reading
Iowa
right?
State tonight? Let me see.
I don't have my glasses on.
Yep, at Texas Tech.
At Texas Tech at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. What's that on? What TV?
ESPNU.
ESPN. I'm watching that.
That should be a good game.
At Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech. They just do enough to win.
They do enough to win, and I think Iowa State's kind of struggled since they got Wigington and Lard back because they have so many good players on the offensive end that there's not necessarily enough shots to go around to everybody. I think it frustrates everyone. They force shots they probably shouldn't take just to get their own shots, and I think that's why they've lost the last couple games.
I didn't realize Iowa State has a transfer from Virginia.
I didn't realize that until he beat Kansas.
Oh, my God, Nate. That guy's good.
He's pretty good. He
I
might
don't- you
come
know,
in and win Player of the Year in his first year.
Do you remember him when we
Yeah,
played?
I remember him.
I don't remember that kid.
Yeah, I remember because he was the only one that didn't play.
Did he play?
Yeah, he played
Against us?
He was the one that he was the only one that would come in and jack up shots.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't like the way Virginia played.
Oh. Well, I can see why.
Yeah,
Because he's sort
he
of
likes to get it up.
he's sort of got the green light now.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's pretty damn good. I
He
know
can
that.
score.
Yeah, he can score. So tonight we have
K-State and Oklahoma.
K-State is at Oklahoma.
Yep.
How about those two teams? Let's talk about them. K-State, I'm gonna say it. I don't like Kansas State. I think they're dirty. I think they don't play the right way. I think they chuck every cut, and I think the referees don't ref. I think they're so dirty that they get away with so much stuff because referees can't call everything.
Well, I think that's kind of an argument against us too.
Well, it was. I agree.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No, because we don't
Not
play
even-
defense
not
anymore.
even-
It's hard
not
to
even-
foul
not-
if you don't defend anybody.
Not anymore.
No, I got no problem with that.
You don't?
No, because
I
I
have a problem with
You
it.
know how many people I hit all the time?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it's hard for me to complain about that.
Speaking of that, before we get on to, I'm tired of watching referees go to the video.
Oh,
Oh my gosh!
I think we have
What is going
officially
on?
exceeded the limitations of that. They go there for everything now.
I get so
They're
tired.
so worried about. I don't.
Yeah,
even
what
know,
are they
I don't
worried
even know
about?
what they're worried about.
I think they're worried about making the NCAA tournament. That the referees are evaluated, and I think that they do everything by the book, what they're told to do when they go to all their meetings and stuff. That it's just common sense, a lot of it. Just like you ain't gonna watch it.
Either that or watch it once and
Yeah.
get on.
Watch
Don't
it
sit
one.
there and watch it for 2
Yeah.
minutes. Call in the next ref. Watch him watch it for 2 minutes.
Hey.
Huddle up, have
Yeah.
a discussion, go back,
Yeah.
look
yeah.
at it again, and then leave it at a common foul.
How about that? That's exactly what they do too, Nate. First of all, always two referee. They all go over. Two
Yeah.
of them. They go over there. They watch it. Then those two discuss it. Then the third guy comes in. Now they talk to that guy, and that guy now goes and watches the video.
Well, you remember
It's
when
unbelievable.
we played Gonzaga?
Yeah, they got a
that-
timeout. I
They
mean,
had a 4-minute timeout
4-minute timeout.
after they were dying.
Talk about changing momentum.
Sitting there, Jamie Lucky calling the ref over.
Jamie Lucky.
He disagreed with him, so he called the other ref
Jamie
over.
Lucky.
He disagreed with him, so he called the other one back over.
Our boy Jamie
And
Lucky.
I'm over here screaming at him to give him the ball because I don't care.
Gonzaga at
It
that
was-
time had their tongues hanging out of their mouth. They were tired. They were fatigued. They were down. And that timeout lasted forever.
Change the game.
Jamie Lucky, my
Yep.
man, Jamie Lucky. All right, Saturday's games. Besides our game Saturday, we have TCU Saturday. TCU's at Kansas State. Got Oklahoma State at Iowa State. We got Texas Tech at Baylor. And we have Oklahoma at Texas. So, to me, I'm interested in watching. I want to follow Texas Tech now.
Absolutely.
I want to watch. Can they keep it going? Can Chris Beard? Now, if you remember, I went out there to Lubbock.
I remember I saw you walking around with that Texas Tech T-shirt on. We all remember that.
Well, the guy gave me a shirt, and they had shoot around. So I said, I'll wear this shirt.
Should have changed on your way out.
I should have changed on the way out, which I didn't. It was a bad move on my part. Bad move. But anyway, I went out there, and Chris Beard, I became a fan of his because I think he's doing things the right way. I watched 2 days, 3 different practices, and he does a couple things pretty unique. What do you think of this? He, let's say he's getting ready to start working on his zone offense. Before he starts to work on the zone offense, he brings everybody over. The team sprints over to the video machine, and they watch. He says, this is what I'm looking for. And he shows them like 5 clips of good possessions. And he says, this is what we can't have. He shows them like 5 clips of bad possessions. Then they go out and do it. Then, next segment of practice, they're going to work on man-to-man defense. Brings them over, shows them 5 clips. Here's what we need to do. Here's what we don't need to do. And when they watch the clips. I think it's pretty unique. I've never seen that done before.
No, I haven't either, but I think it's an efficient way to show your team what you want out of them without walking through it for 20 minutes.
I think it's pretty good.
Them going out and doing it and having to stop and explain what you do and don't want. If you show them up front what you want, then they'll know ahead of time.
I think it's pretty good.
Kind of avoid a lot of inefficiencies.
Yeah. He also did this. When they came to town this year to play our game, I went to their shoot around, and he had the volume cranked up like he had the noise of a crowd screaming, hollering, clapping, and you couldn't literally hear yourself think why practice was going on. And then he would shut that down, and we'd talk to his team about situations that were going to happen. And he said, let's work on this. Turns the volume back up. I think it's pretty good.
I mean, you got to learn how to communicate without being able to necessarily talk to each other. A lot of football teams do it all the time. They are out there, they're cranking volume on music, playing crowd noise, doing something because you got to be able to non-verbally communicate when you get into hostile away situations.
I like Texas Tech a lot. Who in your mind besides Kansas? I know Kansas is Kansas. Who else do you think is it? Who would be the third team in your mind? Guess. Who'd you pick?
If I had to pick, I'd have to give it to TCU.
TCU.
I don't think Baylor is very good. I don't think Iowa State can.
Right.
I mean, they beat Kansas, so it's hard to say they can't play. But I don't think they can sustain it throughout an entire season. Kansas State, I don't think they're any good. Oklahoma State, I don't think they're any good.
How about Oklahoma?
I haven't watched much of them, but they got a lot of good players. Christian James is pretty good.
I think
pretty
Oklahoma.
good. Doolittle's pretty good. I think they got better since they got rid of Trae Young.
That's exactly what I was going to. Addition by subtraction.
Yep.
It's almost like everybody's happy again to play for that team.
Yeah.
And
Everybody likes to shoot. Nobody likes to sit around and watch somebody shoot.
It's unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to change a little topic here.
All right.
I want your opinion on the new football coach that was hired. Give me your thoughts on that.
I think it's a good hire.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I think this is the first time since 11 years ago that the entire state's been behind the same coach.
Yeah.
After Rich Rod left, a lot of people didn't want Coach Stu to get in here.
Good point. Yeah.
So some people were unhappy then, but then when he was outed, a lot of other people were unhappy that he was handled the way he was handled.
Right.
And a lot of people couldn't be fans of Coach Holgerson's for a long time. And I think this is the first time that we've had a legitimate hire, and I think that's why it was smart to go outside of the program and not hire somebody that's already been here.
Right.
Because now everybody is optimistic about our new coach, and we'll see what he can do. It's all good to talk about, but it comes down to winning and losing games. So until next year, or I wouldn't even say next year because I don't think it's going to take a couple years.
I went to his press conference.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see myself how he was at the press conference. And I thought, Nate, that I could see from the seat I was sitting in, I could see out the doorway where the whole group was ready to come in. And I could see him with his wife and his 3 children. And he had his mom and dad. And he had his wife's mom and dad. He had an assistant coach with him that he brought in. And they had a whole row in the front row blocked off for people. And they all came in and they all sat down. Then he went on stage with Shane Lyons and Dr. Gee. And as they did the press conference, I went home and I told my wife, I said, Kathy, I feel there wasn't script. I've seen so many press conferences where the guy has sort of script what he's going to say. I really felt the guy talk from his heart. I thought it was very spontaneous. I think he definitely had a plan that he's got in place that he's gonna go by. I think he covered all the bases. I think he fits the state of West Virginia. I think he's a good fit for how we think things in West Virginia. He's from Kentucky. He was born and raised from Kentucky. He's got a little bit of small town thing about Kentucky doesn't have any pro teams.
No, it's very similar to
it's either Kentucky or Louisville.
Yeah.
Here it's either WVU, I guess, and Marshall maybe, but I don't think it is. But not like Kentucky and Louisville.
No.
So I think there's a lot of similarities, and I really believe the guy's gonna. I think he's gonna do good.
I hope he is.
I think he's gonna do good. I think it's gonna take time.
It'll take time.
Now I heard today that he's been trying to go after the quarterback that's leaving Oklahoma that could be eligible right away. Well, today Oklahoma came out, and Oklahoma has now blocked that kid from going to any other Big 12 school.
I think they're going to have to rescind it eventually.
You think?
Yeah. You can't.
I'm telling you.
They
They are letting him go anywhere else he wants to go.
I think that eventually the bad press from this they're going to
You
have
think?
to change it because the way they operate, they have so many big-time recruits that some people aren't going to play and some people are going to have to transfer. And if you're not willing to let them transfer to where you want to, then that might deter a recruit from coming to you. So I think that they're going to have to eventually rescind that, especially because they got the person they want. They got Jalen Hurts. So
Yeah, Jalen Hurt going there.
yeah, he already committed to there. So
That's why the kid's leaving.
oh yeah, he had to play behind 2 Heisman winners. Now
Exactly.
behind a multinational championship winner, he had no chance of playing. He knows that. And he's still a good quarterback, but I think as a school you have to let him go where he wants. You don't want him, then why should you be able to block him from going anywhere?
That's going to be interesting to see. I think I'll be interested to see. You think it's never rescinded? I don't think they will.
I think if he wants to come, he'll end up here.
You think there's going to be? You think he'll end up here?
I don't. If he wants to, I'm
Oh,
saying. I'm saying.
I think he'll end up here too, and I think that's why they blocked him.
Yeah.
Because they don't want him to come here, because they know the kid's pretty good. Obviously, they recruited him. He was at Oklahoma. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I can't wait to see how that all plays out. But the other thing that I noticed when I was at the interview, he had a way about him of he was very businesslike, but you could still see that he had a little orneriness, a little
entertainer in him.
yeah,
I think that's going to be needed.
which is really good.
Yeah, that's what we have had a lack of fundraising ability and donor relation at the head football coach position for a while now.
Yes.
And I think that's a big part of the job.
Yes.
It's more than just going out and coaching. Coach Hobbs is really, really good at entertaining and being a man of the people.
Yes.
And I think Holgerson's going to be successful at Houston because he's not going to have to do that because he's got a billionaire backing him. So
yeah, and you know what is great for Dana Holgerson is this. Dana Holgerson at Houston is on the second and third page of the sports page all the time. No matter how good Houston becomes, they got the Astros, they got the pro football team, and they got the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the front page. Dana Holgerson, they don't care in the city of Houston. They don't care about the University of Houston. They do not care. Which is here in Morgantown, in the state of West Virginia, Dana was on the front page all the time. So when Dana went to his casino and was out carrying on and having a good time, that was huge in the papers in the state of West Virginia. Dana could go to a casino in Houston,
whatever he wants.
and they don't even know who he is.
No, I think it was definitely a good move for everybody involved.
They don't even know. They don't even know who he is.
He'll be good there.
I think he'll be real good there.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think he'll be able to recruit there.
Yeah.
You know, he's from Texas. He's still got a house in Texas. He's still got a house in Houston.
Yeah.
And his buddy, the billionaire,
he's going to take care of him.
Yeah. I think he's.
He'll be happy there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's any animosity between the two. So
exactly right. Let's talk a little bit about the local high school basketball here. Our two schools, University High and your alma mater, Morgantown High. They both lost last night.
To who?
University went on the road and lost to Willing Central.
Really?
And Morgantown went on the road and lost to Fairmont.
Senior.
Senior.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're probably the best team in the state. If I would
Yeah.
have to say. They were last year.
Well, Martinsburg, they came out with a poll today. Martinsburg is number 1. Fairmont's number 2. University came in at like 10. And I think Morgantown was 14 today. But they both lost last night. They had a pretty good. They played each other.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was like a 3-point game.
Yeah. It was a good game. Matter of fact, it was the same night that we played
Kansas State.
Kansas State, exactly. So I stayed home and watched the Mountaineer game, and I didn't go to the high school game. How about big Oscar coming in here? Tell me what you think, buddy.
I think he's pretty good. If anything else, he rebounds absolutely everything that comes anywhere near him. So I coached him in AAU for a couple tournaments. He probably averages over 20 rebounds a game. And there was just everything that comes near him, he rebounds. So I expect big things out of him, but I hope he can come in, handle the pressure, and just play. I hope he doesn't have any expectations for himself, and he just does what he does because he's a very happy-go-lucky kid who just likes to be a kid. He likes to watch cartoons, play games, and I hope that doesn't change.
Being around that kid, he seems like a kid that can handle all the expectations. He seems like he can handle it. I think he's got an unbelievable demeanor off the court.
Mm-hmm.
But when he goes on the court, he's got a motor that's crazy.
He does, and I just hope it's not naiveness that is why he is the way he is. I hope he doesn't get here and have some freedom and follow the wrong people, but I don't think he will. I think if someone can come in and show him the right way to do things, then he's going to be very good. So we'll see.
I have some comparisons. Some I don't say he's like this guy. I mean, a clone, but Zion Williamson at Duke, that freshman. I think Oscar reminds me of him, body-wise, makeup-wise, how he jumps, how he dunks. Zion Williamson in Duke, he makes a spectacular play. He makes when a guy makes a crazy dunk, how the momentum changes.
Oh, yeah.
He changes momentum all the time. That's how I see Oscar. I see Oscar making the Coliseum go crazy, like bunches of time.
Oh, it'll definitely happen. I think once he gets in here and actually has a strength program and actually develops his body more than what it already is, and he's going to be a little bit of a freak.
He is so strong now. He's so strong. He's so athletic, and he's probably never trained.
No,
he never trained.
Imagine so.
Never trained. I think another thing that I want to talk about is, we train the body. We get shots up. We work on the basketball skills. Who works on the mind? I think a program needs a mind coach. A basketball team needs a mind coach. I think a mind coach has to.
When you say a mind coach, you mean a psychologist?
Well, not
necessarily.
Not necessarily, because psychologists can't relate to the basketball players. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I think you need somebody that's been around basketball and maybe played or coached or a combination. I'd like to be a mind coach.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, I would. I wish somebody would hire me as a basketball mind coach. Because Nate, I swear I could get to. I swear I could get to people.
You got a lot of good ideas.
I do. Are you saying my ideas are good, but they won't work?
I'm saying I don't know who's going to go from paying you to be a mind coach.
Well,
might be able to volunteer.
Hold on a second. No. Would you not listen to me?
I would love for you to call Coach Beard and say, "Do you need a mind coach?"
Yeah. He might hire me. Here's what I'm saying to you. During your career,
yeah,
did I talk to you several times and tell you that you were your worst enemy?
Yeah.
And you need to clear your mind, and you need to play free, and you just got to get to the point where you don't care. what people think. Because let's talk about it. You got beat up pretty good by social media.
Mm-hmm.
Your first year, couple years, people said you were horrible. Why do we ever give him a scholarship? You know, he can't do this, he can't do that. You got beat up pretty good. Your senior year, you changed. You changed, Nate. And don't you think your mind changed?
Absolutely. If you go into it thinking that you are capable of doing something, then you're going to have a better chance of doing it. You're not going to hold yourself back, at least.
Right.
I think a lot of that, though, is in preparation for it. A lot of it's being healthy for a whole summer and playing
Right.
against people and knowing that you can do it. And the more you know and the more you are comfortable with something, then the better you're going to be with it. And I think by my senior year, I was comfortable with everything. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
On the court, off the court, I was just in a more comfortable space, and
Right.
it helped a lot.
I felt your senior year that you finally had the Nate Adrian swag that I saw that you had in high school.
That's fair.
In high school, I thought you had.
Well, you watched me at the team camp whenever I just
Yeah.
was shooting from half court.
That's what I'm saying. You had the green light, sort of, and like you had no. Your mind was free.
Yeah.
And I kept on saying, Hugs, I know this guy can play, man. This guy can play. Then I saw you come here, and all of a sudden, you became your worst enemy, I thought. And I said, Nate, just let it go, man. Get that swag back. You had the swag. You got your swag back. You got your sort of your, I don't know if the right word is, cockiness back a little bit. You strutted your stuff. Like, bring it on, dude. Bring it on. Bring it on. That's how you played your senior year. You played bring it on.
Yeah, I did. And even now,
Now,
yeah. Now I really don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I go practice,
Now
I'm
you never
pretty
miss.
loose now. Yeah.
It's crazy.
What do you want me? You got a cough? You better get it out because I'm on dead air here. You're not even coughing.
I got it. Well, I thought I did, but I didn't. All right. We've been 50 minutes in. We're going to take a break. We're going to shut this down. But I want to say this. I want to thank, first of all, the Dominion Post for advertising this show. And you can get this on the DominionPost.com tomorrow by, hey, Jessica, what time will it be up? By noon? By 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? All right, yeah, sounds great.
It sounds great.
Whatever. So that'll be on DominionPost.com. And I want to thank the Green Turtle for having let us do it here. And my next show, and Jessica, please make note of this. I'm going to talk to you about this. Next Tuesday was supposed to be my show. I have to do it next Wednesday. I can't do it next Tuesday. So I got to do it next Wednesday. Again, from 6 to 7. Next Wednesday. We play, I'm pretty sure, at Iowa State. But that's not going to be a confliction with me because our show's over at 7. So I'm going to go 6 to 7. I'll give you my guess for next week. And I've got to do something on Tuesday that just came up that my wife and I are going to do a American Cancer Society function in Charleston with the state legislators. And since it's obviously touched my heart with the cancer thing, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to change it to Wednesday. So again, thank you very much. And for all the people that are eating their food and everything, I hate to, and be at the bar and stuff, I hope we don't bother you too much. But thanks for coming out. We'll see you a week from tonight.
There you go.
Thanks, Nate.
Absolutely,
My
buddy.
man, thanks.